everyone, it's Key of W here with a devlog. It's been a long time since I made one of these, so I'm making a video game. It was intended to be a tiny video game I could make in a couple months. That couple months turned into a lot of months, and now it's the next year. There was just a bunch of personal stuff that happened recently. Nothing bad, I had to deal with my personal life, so I wasn't working on the game for 3 months at all. Didn't touch it. Came back, spent a few weeks trying to remember how the game worked, and then I made some changes. And you know what? Enough complaining about my life. Let's look at the game. The last few devlogs were just me showing stuff with, text overlay and whatever. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this. Let's walk through the beginning of the game. I'll tell you what's changed, what my plans are, etc., etc. So we'll just jump into a new game. One of the things I wanted to focus on while I was making changes here was this how to play option. I realized as I was making everything before, I didn't have anywhere in the game that explained the mechanics at all. So this is what this is for, this how to play section. There's question marks here. Those will become revealed once you collect the items, the upgrades. I didn't want this to, first of all, tell you too much information and also reveal a secret ability that I didn't want the player to know about. But then if you go on further, we've got some explanations of stuff. I kind of feel it over-explain, do we really need to explain this? But I figured it would be helpful, especially since I showed the game to some people, and some of this stuff they didn't understand immediately, or at least, it took a little longer than I wanted. But at the same time, I didn't want to, force players to have a tutorial. So for anyone who's not getting it, this is here. You can look at this stuff. It's obviously not finished here because I want to figure out what to do with this last page. But I wanted to have that there just in case. I'm trying to keep a philosophy about it of I don't want to force players to do something they don't want to do, but I also want to provide options if they get stuck. So I'm trying to walk that knife edge here. So anyway, if we walk around, let me start walking through the game here. I've been really working on the level design of this. I'm generously rounding down to say I've probably only done about half of the rooms in the game. But it's pretty quick to create new rooms, actually, based on how this goes. It just takes forever to, code new things and fix bugs, stuff like that. So I'll show you some of those here. I mentioned I showed this game to some real-life people instead of just internet friends, and learned a couple things. So this room actually went through a lot of changes. This room used to be I just walk straight into the room, touch the flag, and drop through that platform that was there, and the setup inside the tree was very different. I've changed it to this because people didn't know they could drop through that platform, because there hasn't been one you're forced to drop through. This right here is a platform you can drop through. Directly below me, the skinny platform at the bottom of the screen, you can drop through. So people would get into this room, and then they'd be in here for 2 minutes, literally. Could not figure out where to go from here. And so I was like, I can't have that happen. So I was telling them okay, you can press down, you can drop through like this. And I was asking, do you think it'd be better if I had a sign that pointed downward? I put a sign right here pointing downward. And some of them said no, actually. They liked how the game was sort of guiding the player to figure out what to do without expressly telling it. So if you want to know, you can always go into here and look at it. But if you want to figure it out for yourself, I tried to set this room up so that the player would naturally be drawn in. So they go up the tree, they drop down to the section. Now they can't get out. And so the player is left with two, thoughts, or two possibilities. Possibility one, the designer is so stupid they created this dead end, the game is over. Or possibility two, there is in fact a way out of here, even though we don't yet have the ability to jump. This looks new. There's a flag right down there. Maybe we can reach it. Let's try pressing down. That was my thought process on changing the room. Hopefully this makes it better. And I'll let you know you can go down here. We're still in our tutorial area. This room is designed to make it look like left is the correct direction to go. At least that's what my thought is. When I tested this to people, it was kind of 50-50 which direction they moved. Also, notice above there's some water droplets from stalactites. That's new. That was a request by my wife that I put that in the game. And I've only put it in this room and one other so far, so I need to fix that. It's supposed to happen in every room, but it only happens here. Anyway, when you go to the left, we have the door. I've shown that in previous things. We need a key for that. The only way forward now is we have to come this way, go up the ladder, go to the right. There was another issue I ran into where when you attach to a ladder, your character needed to be right on the money when you were going down, not when you were going up. Climbing up a ladder, here, I'll show you actually. If you're climbing a ladder, look, I'm right here. If I press up, nothing happens. Now if I move a little closer and press up, I attach. Because the game is saying you're close enough, we can tell you're trying to climb. But when we were doing that going down, you needed to be literally right above it. I have fixed that because trying to attach this ladder was annoying. And if you see at the bottom of this room, actually, let me go to the bottom and I'll show you what I mean. There's a little bit of a puzzle that is, I don't know if I call it a puzzle, it's just an obstacle that is atrocious to deal with before I fixed the ladder issue, because you would have to be so precise with the movement. You don't have to be that precise anymore. You just have to be careful. There we go. So this whole beginning area is designed to teach all of the basic mechanics of the game, and you're pretty constrained where you can go. Like, we don't have a jump, so we can only go to the rooms that have gone so far. But I want this game to be somewhat open world. It's Metroidvania style once you collect upgrades, and I really do not want there to be a preferred path. Here's the first upgrade. The jumping shoes, we can jump now. And the goal is that this opens up the game quite a lot. I don't even want it to be like Metroid games. Like, Metroid Prime is a favorite of mine, but the game is roughly linear. It wants you to go in the upgrade order that it's set for you. It doesn't really want you to go out of order. This game, I want you to be able to go roughly any order you want. I don't think it's completely any order you want. I do think there are some dependencies. But you can go to the right from here. You can also now go to the left. This section is now able to be done. I'll show a little bit of this, but not all of it. We got these platforms here. I used to not have them with the visible, like, blue and pink lines and circles, but players just, you couldn't tell where the platform was going to turn around, so they felt very uneasy jumping on and off of these. This at least helps people know where the jump is supposed to be, because like this next room was actually quite terrible when you couldn't see the left and right edge. So that's been changed. You could also see titles for rooms. Like this one says room Geo6. That's because that's where the room is on the grid. Whereas this room has a title. Eventually they'll all have titles. But this grid gets me to my next point, is I need a world map for this game. There's no way to tell where I am, and lots of players asked for that because they got lost. Once the game world opens up and the players are trying to figure out where to go, it'd be helpful to be able to look up a map. So my next big thing is I want to make a world map. So it's going to use the grid. The game is put on a grid of 8x16, so I just have to figure out a way to make that work. I mean, anything I do in this is me figuring it out. I'm not a coder. That's not what I do. I'm a musician. That is my actual job. So that's basically all. We have these platforms that go up as well. I don't really want to show the entire game. I don't want to give too much away. But that's basically what we've got going on. Anyway, I just want to say thanks for anyone to kind of stop by. I'm very glad to be back on the horse, so to speak. I hope to be, making updates every day. I've been trying to post stuff to like a game dev tag on Blue Sky so that 6 or 7 bots can like it, and I can feel good about myself. But that way, I at least post it somewhere. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter, which is not Twitter anymore. I'm kind of on Reddit, but I only lurk. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Threads. I don't care about any of that crap. So yeah, I'm not a great marketer or advertiser, but I do try to post updates to Blue Sky at the very least, and then of course here to YouTube. So I hope you can follow along, like and subscribe, or I don't know what'll happen. You don't have to do that. I'm not your dad. I'm gonna go now. I'm just gonna leave. Have a good one. Bye.